welcome back to another video where I show you everything I eat in a day for this whole week. If you've not seen one of these videos before, I'll just quickly go over the rules and caveats. I will show everything I eat, which includes lunch, dinner, and snacks. I don't usually have breakfast, I'm just not a breakfast person. Most of my lunches are low-carb, keto-friendly, except on the weekend when I have my cheat day and I have some sandwiches. And then lunches are regular, dinners are regular dinners. And like I said, I don't really do breakfast. And snacks are usually fruits, so I have a bunch of mandarin oranges and I have some apples left over from last week in the fridge, so I'm not going to show you that because that gets repetitive, but if I have any other kind of snack I will show you. And I don't usually show what I drink because that's water, tea without sugar, the occasional sugar-free soda, things like that. So if I do have anything with calories or sugar or something in it, I will show it. But yeah, let's just get started with lunch for Sunday. And that's lunch for Sunday, some bagels with bacon, lettuce, a little bit of mayo, and some cucumber because I had that left over. And for a snack while I edit my Sunday prep day video, I'm just having a bar of chocolate. All right, now it's time to make some dinner. I'm making some sauerkraut. So here I melted a little bit of butter, and I'm gonna add some bacon lardons. And I'm just going to render those out. And in the meantime, I've also roasted some ham, so that's just resting in some foil. And once that has rendered down a bit, I'm going to add some veggies. By the way, I prepped all these in my Sunday prep day video, so if you want to see how I get all the things ready for the week, check out that video. It's linked at the end. But I'm going to add some garlic, some diced red onion, a little bit of shredded carrot, some chilies. You can use any color. I just mostly have green at the moment. And some diced peppers. And I'll just saute those for a bit. And once those vegetables have softened, I'm going to add some sauerkraut. Mix that in. And then I will add a little bit of water. So that this doesn't burn and this can just simmer for a little bit. And while that simmers, I preheated my Ninja Foodi on air fry, so I'm just going to add my potato wedges. I'll add a little spritz of oil, and then I'll just air fry those for 20 minutes. So that's going to do its thing, that's just going to simmer, and I'll see you back when it's time to plate up. And that's dinner for Sunday, some sauerkraut bacon with lots of veggies, air fried potato wedges, and some roasted ham. For lunch on Meatless Monday, I'm having some tomato soup, and if you want to see how I made that, that's in my Sunday prep day video. Let's make some dinner on Meatless Monday. So I have a pan on the heat with a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna make some vegetarian quesadillas. If you've watched my channel before, these What I Eat in a Day videos, you might have seen me make some vegan tacos for Meatless Mondays. And I thought I would just try making those, but add a little bit of cheese to make them into a quesadilla. So I have some carrots, some yellow onion, I'll add some peppers, some chilies, and some garlic. And I will also add a bit of salt. That should help this cook down. And while that's cooking down, I'm just going to start preparing the tortillas. So I have some tortillas here, I have some cheese, and I'm just going to put that on one half. And then I'll put the filling on later and put some more cheese on, fold it in half. And now that the vegetables have softened, I'm going to add some tomato product, just some tomato paste. This is actually tomato and pepper paste. So I'll add some of that, and I'll stir that through and let that cook down for a little bit. And I'll also add a little bit of spices. I have some smoked paprika here, just for a nice smoky flavor. I think that would go well with my lentils. And some chipotle powder for the same reason. You can use regular paprika and chili powder, but I just like the smoked versions. And I'll add a little bit of cumin for a little bit of a hearty taste. And now that the vegetables have all softened and the rawness is cooked out of that tomato puree, I'm just going to add a little can of lentils. And again, I'll just heat that through. And if the pan looks a little bit dry and you're afraid things are going to burn, just add a little splash of water, not too much. Just enough to prevent it from burning and to help things cook down a little bit more. Yeah, I'll just give this a few minutes and then that's ready to go inside my tortillas. And once everything is done, I'm just going to spoon that on top of my quesadilla. So I'm going to cover half. And then I'll top with a little bit more cheese. And then I'll just fold them in half and squish them down a bit. I did give the pan a little quick wipe. Didn't wash it, just wiped it, that's fine. And it's back on the heat, so I'm just gonna put that in, squish it a little bit, make sure it's sealed. And I'll just give these a few minutes. I'll flip them once the side starts to crisp up. I'll flip them around, give that another minute or two. And then it's time to serve. And I just served that with some salsa. Usually I make my own. This time I just used some store-bought. And I just sprinkled some cilantro and some spring onions on top because I had that ready sliced, so just to make it look pretty. But yeah, that's vegetarian quesadillas for Meatless Monday for dinner. For lunch on Tuesday, I'm having some leftover roasted ham that was left over from Sunday, and I have some green beans. For a snack, I had some of these pickled cucumbers that I made on Sunday. Let's make some dinner for Tuesday. I usually do Taco Tuesdays, and I'm making some Korean tacos. So here in a pan, I have a bit of oil, and I just browned some beef. I'm just gonna add a little bit of chilies. You can use chili flakes or something, but I don't really have them. So I'm just using fresh chilies. I'll also add some garlic. We'll just let that saute for a minute. I also have a smaller pan on the heat. And I'll just add a little bit of sesame oil. And here I have some kimchi. I'm just gonna saute a nice helping of that. And then to my beef, I'm just gonna add some ground ginger. And I'll add some soy sauce. I'm using a sweetened soy sauce. If you're using regular soy sauce, just add a little bit of brown sugar or maybe some honey. And I'll just mix that in. And while that is going, we'll also quickly make a little sauce. So here I have a little bit of mayo. I'm gonna add some sriracha and some lime. And I'll just give that a quick stir. And I just quickly heated up some tortillas. So to plate up, we're just gonna put on some kimchi. We'll put on the beef, top it with our sriracha mayo, and then here I have some cilantro, some sliced spring onions, and some diced red onions. And then lastly, just top it off with some sesame seeds. And that is dinner for Taco Tuesday, some Korean beef tacos with kimchi. Let's go make some lunch for Wednesday. So I have my Ninja Foodi preheating, and we're just gonna make some stuffed peppers. So here I have some ground beef. I'm gonna add some salt, some pepper, and here I have a little bit of shredded carrot. So I'll put that in. I'm basically gonna use up all the leftover veggies I had. So I have some diced red onion that can go in, some spring onions, and a little bit of garlic. Seeing I had a little bit of cilantro left over, let's put in some cilantro, some chilies, and I don't really need peppers in stuffed peppers, but I had a little bit of diced up peppers left over, so I'll put that in, and I'll add a little bit of cheese, and I'll just mix that all thoroughly. And then we'll just take some halved peppers that I cleaned out, and I'm just gonna stuff the mixture inside. And these can go in my Ninja Foodi on bake or roast. And these will just take about 15 to 20 minutes, so stick back in a moment. And that is lunch for Wednesday, some stuffed peppers. All right, let's get some dinner going. I have some burgers on my little griddle thing. I'm just gonna dress up these buns. I have some whole wheat buns, I have some burger sauce. I have some lettuce. And here I have some of the homemade pickles I made in my Sunday prep day video. And some cheese. This is one of the few things that I actually use American slices for because it melts nicely. And we're just gonna top that off with a burger. That's dinner for Wednesday. Some burgers on some whole wheat buns with some cheese and some homemade pickles. Okay, let's start off Thursday by marinating some chicken drumsticks for my lunch. I'm gonna make some tandoori chicken. So here I have some yogurt. I'm gonna add some tandoori seasoning and a bit of salt. And I'll just stir everything together. And then I'll just add some chicken drumsticks and get them all properly coated. And that is just ready to go in the fridge for a couple of hours to marinate. And once they're done, I'm just gonna grill them in my Ninja Foodi. So that's grill, the highest setting it will go for probably about 20 minutes. And that is lunch for Thursday, some chicken tandoori drumsticks with some green beans. For a low-carb snack, I'm having some beef jerky. And another thing I'm going to do is marinate my chicken for tonight. So here I have some gochujang paste. I'm gonna add some rice vinegar, some honey in about equal parts, and some sesame oil. Give that a stir, and then I'll drop in my chicken and make sure everything is covered. And that is also ready to go in the fridge to marinate for a few hours, and I'm just gonna fry that up tonight for my gochujang rice bowl bibimbap thing. Alright, the chicken has marinated for a couple of hours, so now I just have a pan on the heat with a bit of oil. And I'm just going to get that in. And I have another pan on the heat. I'm just going to add some broccoli in that one. And I'll pour over some of that marinade as well. That can cook down. Chicken can cook. I'm going to make some rice and fry up an egg. And yeah, simple as that. I have my rice, I have my chicken, I have my broccoli. Let's add some kimchi as well. Really stock up on veggies. Let's do some of those pickles I made the other day, since I have them and all. My fried egg. And I'll just top that off with some sesame seeds. And that is dinner for Thursday, so bibimbap with some gochujang chicken, broccoli, kimchi, pickled cucumber, and a fried egg. I really like that tandoori marinade yesterday, so for Fish Friday, for lunch, I marinated some pollock in that same marinade, and I'm serving that with some sugar snaps. For a snack, I'm just having some hard-boiled eggs. And dinner for Fish Friday is some fish from the oven with some potato wedges and some broccoli. And that was everything I ate this week. So if you like this kind of content, I do these videos about once a month, and if you want to see more, you can always check out my Instagram where I post every single meal. But yeah. If you'd like to see how I prepared all the ingredients, every Sunday I do my Sunday prep day video, and I'll link the one for this week in the end here, so you can see how I chopped everything, how I made the soup and everything like that. And yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.